Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing fantastically, that you're all having a cozy autumn time, a spooky Halloween season time. I am dressed in all of my comfort wear currently, and this is the start of another reading vlog.
Eh. Oh. Ah. Ding.
So I asked on my Instagram if you wanted to see a reading vlog of these three books here. I don't know why I did that, because if one person answered yes, I probably would have done it. Maybe I just wanted that confirmation of that someone would actually watch it, but also because I know for me right now in my life, it's a lot of effort to do a reading vlog, and I don't read very fast. And these are three medium-sized books. So I'm very excited about these because I just been reading more and more horror, and I've been really like into the scary stuff, and I have never had that phase in my life whatsoever. So now I'm like getting so excited about all the books I could possibly read. And specifically, I want to read like queer horror, and I've kind of entered a phase in my life along with the horror that I just basically just want to read queer books. And with that note, I just finished Lapvona by Patricia Wants, and what not only was it not queer, but I like hated it. I had such a bad time reading it that now I just want to like read books that I really enjoy. And I honestly think all three of these will be books that I really enjoy. So I'm super excited for this vlog. And I think this is the order I'm going to read them in. I'm first going to read Patricia Wants to Cuddle by Samantha Allen. I have heard this is a horror, classified as a horror, but when I read the description, it doesn't sound like horror to me at all. So I'm very intrigued. All I know is that it's kind of like a little bit camp, a little bit funny. I think it takes place in a cottage, but who knows? I'm going to start with this one because the fact that it's supposed to be funny is perfect for me now, trying to recover from Lapvona, which literally made me have World War II nightmares where I was the bad guy. It was like actually horrifying that my brain would come up with that. And I cannot believe this book made me dream of that. Not this one, Lapvona. Um, so I'm just like grasping onto anything that can help me restore my sanity right now, which is horse perfect for that. That's what I heard at least. No, but like something fun. And then I think I'm going to pick up Our Lives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. So I've heard more about this on BookTube recently, but I've seen it a lot in bookstores, and it just didn't look like the type of book I'd like. It looks a lot like literary fiction to me, but I believe it has a very similar-ish premise to From the Wreck by Jane Austen, which is one of my all-time favorite books. Basically, this woman goes down to the sea to research something there. Whatever happened there kind of like comes back with her, and that's about a slow book, I believe, about the suspense that builds between the main character and her wife. And then also this Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. So this is a gay conversion camp horror. That's all I know about it. So this will probably also be the scariest. It's also like the longest, and I'm saving it for last. I do think this is a good order for me, but I'm truly like so excited to read all these books. Like, ugh, good literature, yes, please. And also, I know that this blog will go up like after the whole October Halloween craze, but I'm feeling that this horror phase that I'm going through might last a little longer. So, maybe you'll see more from all of this. I divided them into 8 parts altogether. So I'll try to read them in a little more than a week, but that's 100 pages a day, which is not how much I'm reading right now. So we'll see what happens. But first, let's read. So it's a reality show type of deal. It's exciting. Okay, so I'm on page 18. I'm like read 2 chapters or something. It's about these 4 contestants who are on their way to an island to film the finale of this dating show called The Catch, where this person, Jeremy, has to choose between one of them, I guess. And this is the finale. And they're filming it on an island, kind of out of character for this show because usually they go to like a fancy location, but it's like cold and wet, which is perfect because that's exactly what Copenhagen is right now. It's cold and wet and clammy, not good vibes. So far, so good. It is funny, but it also has very ominous, ominous vibes. I think that's the word. So I'm excited to keep reading. And also, I feel like the author is really good at wrapping in information inside of what is like going on. Like it's not info dumpy, but we get like a lot of information from like what is happening and the characters' thoughts and stuff. But it takes like a little bit of brain power to like piece it all together so far at least. I have to focus a little bit, but it's definitely I mean it's an easy read, don't get me wrong. It seems like we're gonna follow the perspectives of like all of these 4 contestants and maybe the guy, Jeremy. We'll see. So I think the funny part of this book is like the thoughts and lines that the characters are using. Like Lila May is like religious person and her character is just like bizarre in the way that she's like using her religion to justify capitalism type of deal. Like it's really funny. But then she also says this bathroom would basically need to be baptized in hydrogen peroxide before Lila May would ever consider using it. Also this one, here's another one. Not that Lila May has anything against gay people. Everyone has their challenges in life. Some people are alcoholics, and some people have gambling problems, and some people have desires that just aren't right.
Are you filming me?
Yeah. Are you enjoying the figure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like this far into the book, page 50 or something, a little bit more, and I'm really enjoying it. It's so fun to read from all the characters. They're all like so wild together. I'd say really funny things, but also there's some sort of like creature slash human at this island. I think I was gonna say something else, but really enjoying it. I'm so excited to keep reading. Also, I told the plot to have this, and now they really want to read it, so I'm gonna have to do my updates in secret. Wouldn't it be fun if I could make them read it for this vlog? That'd be nice. We'll see. Can eat soon. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, I'm on page 80 now, and I might say some things that are like, I would say not really spoilery, but maybe more than you actually want to know about the book, to be honest. But that's just a mild warning. I'll put all the timestamps down below for this one. It's not actual spoilers. I'm just letting you know. So we're getting perspectives from all the characters, and I feel like Renee is kind of our main character. We're getting like a little bit more from her. She is a black lesbian, I believe, and she feels like the character that's supposed to be like the reasonable one, the one we're supposed to relate to. And so far, she's kind of a little bit giving Final Girl vibes, but who's to say, you know? And we're also getting perspective from Casey, who's the producer. Also kind of interesting. All the other characters, I feel like kind of supposed to be like unlikable in, for example, Renee's eyes, or like everyone has some sort of relationship with all of them. And I think most of the characters are like underestimating everyone's intelligence, which is kind of interesting. Like no one really sees the other people as full rounded people or like intelligent beings. They just have like different motives for being there. And it doesn't mean that they're like unintelligent. At least it's not like read that way to us. Before I get into like more, not really spoilers, but my prediction, which might be a spoiler depending on how accurate my prediction is. We're also getting these like the catch chat pages, which is like what people are saying about the show online, which I find kind of interesting. We're also learning like more about this island and like the history of the show from that. The first chapter is about this sheep that is weirdly killed and just left on a porch of the bed and breakfast that these people are now staying at. And we also know that there's 3 people who had like went missing in 94 on this island, and that there's been several instances where they've seen some sort of like dark creature. And because of the cover, and also because of like the American cover, I believe, where like someone's holding like this girl and it's like grabbing monster hand. I feel like it's kind of a, what is that creature called? Like a furry creature. I don't think we met Patricia. Who's Patricia? Patricia Wants to Cuddle. I'm thinking is the monstery kind of character, like the one that's the furry creature that keeps appearing. I'm guessing it's like some sort of hairy woman creature who just wants to cuddle. Maybe I'm reading too much into the title, but maybe she like steals these women and like crushes them or something, or she like builds a home for them, or I don't know. Like, I feel like the gayness of the book is definitely gonna like amp up and that this creature has something to do with it. Yes, Bigfoot. That's kind of what I was thinking of, I guess. A Bigfoot sort of bear creature called Patricia. What is her motives? I don't know. Maybe she's just like a monster, but I think not. Maybe the three people who came to this island got like converted into these monsters. I don't know. That's my half-assed prediction up until now. I hope Headless didn't hear any of that.
What movie are we watching?
Shutter Island.
Right.
Sailor?
Okay,
Like touch.
Oh.
What did you say? Touch?
Touch, taste. Smell, taste, sight. Yeah, I think that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah, ditto. Second.
No, sorry. I'm having fika while drawing.
And that's all.
Mm-hmm. I want to say I'm choking on my cat leg.
Babe, are you okay?
Yeah. Okay. I'm good. It's a wrap.
You haven't proved that you're drawing. You could be lying about that. How's your fika?
It's delicious. I'm not going to include clips of where we live on the internet.
Why not?
Just to be safe, you know?
I think the booktube community is going to come after us. Steal all of our books.
It's a possibility. Although they're pretty nice over there. There might be an occasional rogue, you never know.
Mm. Yeah, we better be safe and sorry.
Okay, I'm on page like 184, and things like the action's like really starting to pick up. I keep flipping like back and forth between like the earlier chapters just to like double check names and stuff. And my earlier like thoughts were that I would love if the reality show aspect and like the mystery of this island and like the missing people were kind of like tied together somehow. Like that there was a reason we got to like expose that truth together with this setup of the reality show. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the reality show is just kind of like a tool for the plot to like unravel with these specific people. But we'll see. I won't let you know if that's the truth or not, obviously. Yeah, it's like really exciting right now. And I'm really excited about like the direction the book is taking. Like the action is just happening. And I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see or like hear how this all fits together, because right now there's like some different parts that are like storylines that are not connecting yet. and I cannot wait for them to connect. So excited. Really enjoying it. It's just like quick, fun. I think at some point I thought it was a little bit too much of like the reality show aspect, but at this point I don't really feel like that anymore just because now it's not so much about the reality show aspect anymore. Like it's starting to focus on other stuff, and because the book is so short, it gave us like a chance to enjoy the silly reality TV show filming aspect of it first. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I can't wait to see what happens. Oh, I finished it. Oh, it was great. It was drama. I loved it. It's really fun. If you want to have a good time, I recommend this book. It's not scary at all, in my opinion. It's more of like a comedy slasher. It also did get more gay throughout it, especially in the themes, specifically lesbian. This is for the hiking Birkenstock lesbians out there. It was just really fun, a good time. It was very consumable. I was supposed to read this in like 3 days, but I mean, I've read in like 1.5 day now because I was just like enjoying turning one page after another. Really enjoyed it. Might even be a 5 star. What I will say though is that it's not very complicated. Like the mystery of it is not why you're reading it, which I'm fine with. It's just that I was expecting more kind of like reveals, if that makes sense. But the simplicity of the story is like good enough for me because it was all just really enjoyable and it wasn't about that. Yeah, highly recommend. Can't wait to read my next book, which will have a completely different mood. Wow, but I'm gonna let this marinate a little bit before I start the other one. Also, Bird by Jacob Tobiah, which is fun. Samantha Allen is also gay and was like writing a cute note about relating two of the lesbian characters to her and her wife, which I thought was very cute. So, since last I updated you, I went to get some groceries. I did some dishes, got some prep stuff for dinner, and I also had a huge financial bomb dropped on me. So now I feel like I'm having a little bit of like a life crisis. And I'm not gonna ignore that for the next couple of days, but I'm gonna keep reading for now while I like process. Because I feel like my brain just can't really comprehend it all and wrap myself around it properly. But I think, I'll figure it out as all things figure themselves out. But yes, that means I'm going to start Our Lives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Very different vibe, creepy horror vibes. Like ominous is what I think. I'm excited to start this, and hopefully it will distract me from my real world problems just for a little bit while my subconscious processes all of this. So, them just uploaded an article called Meet the Next Generation of Queer Horror Authors by Nick Anstedt. Like, literally just uploaded it. And the top book on this list or author is Julia Armstedt's Our Lives Under the Sea. My screen is a little reflective. But also, there's so many good ones in this list, like River Solomon. There's a bunch of authors that I would love to read from. Also, I just finished Brainworms, and Alison Rumfitt is on it as well. Yes, I need to check out these authors for sure. But what are the chances? The coincidences? Cool. They seem to favor game shows and programs about people tasked with falling in love with each other in exotic locations for money. That's funny. So right now I'm making some more coffee. It's around midday. Oh, that's not true. It's 4 already? 2? No, like around 2. Um, Yesterday we had quesadillas and we watched Starstruck and I read 40, no, 60 pages in Our Rise Under the Sea. I'm enjoying it, but because there's not a lot of action taking place like in the now, a lot of the things that are written are like things that happened in the past. And just like generally I like stories that are more centered on what's happening in now time, rather than like telling you about what's already happened. Um, but that's just like a personal preference. So it is about this woman who went on a submarine down to the ocean to do like research stuff. And she was supposed to be gone for like 3 weeks, but she was gone for 6 months. And she's come back, and now we're following her perspective, Leah, and Miri, who is her partner slash wife, girlfriend slash wife, and their dynamic while they're living together after like being apart for 6 months, but also the fact that Leah, who has been gone, has like weird symptoms where she's like bleeding from her gums, her like skin looks weird and like sometimes scaly. She goes and like lets the water run, spends time in the bath, and there's like weird residue in the bath. Her gums are bleeding. Did I already say that? They barely talk with each other at all. It's like all silent. She's like a completely different person. And when she does talk, she's like giving facts about the ocean. So yeah, it's like that contrast together with these flashbacks about how their relationship and these two people were like before all of this happened. So it's like sad, melancholy. Yeah, I'm gonna read more today. I'm actually like a whole day ahead of schedule, which is great. So this might just be a week-long vlog or even less maybe. I have changed the bunny toilets today, vacuumed the whole apartment, took a shower. I'm gonna call my mom, then I'm gonna call my dad, and then I'm gonna read. It's been like busy today. My hair actually looks nice. Like my curls are so pretty, like right after I take a shower. And then any other time than that, it's just horrible. Oat milk. Okay, I'm on page like 100 or something, a little less. Nothing much has changed, to be honest. Leah's condition is like worsening a little bit. Their relationship's not going great. No one's doing great. Yeah, we're mostly just getting snippets of like the past. We're learning a little bit more about what happened the 6 months that Leah was gone. Their friend group, how they met, just like snippets of memories. It's slow because I just want more things to happen, you know? There's definitely like a creeping dread, but it's just also because it's very slow and we don't know what's happening to Leah and what happened under the sea when she was there. But I think Miri's like thoughts are very realistic. I would say like I feel like the authors really submerged themselves into the scenario of like how would it feel if your partner was gone under the sea for 6 months and you didn't know if they were okay, you know? I feel like the realism of like what you'd think about, what you'd be going through, and the thoughts that you've been having and struggling with, like I feel like that's very realistic. Like I am alone right now because this is at work, but I'm just like, this please come home. I don't want you away from me. This is just, it's because what if you're gone for 6 months now? Obviously, that's not going to happen, but like, that's how I'm feeling. Like, the book is affecting me, and like, I want my baby close. So I guess it's like, it's well written, but it's just like a little bit too slow for me. I want something to speed up. I'm fine with it going slow and learning more as long as at some point it kind of speeds up towards the end. It's all just like building tension. I gotta go to the store right now, buy some food, then make dinner. Another breakfast. Another cold morning. So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy boy. Oh, Are you a flat boy? You just lay down. Yo, you just laid down, didn't you?
I only circled a tiny little bit. Gotta cut that out. Should I start the show?
Yeah, start the show.
I think it was a bit. We're making a game
What is it called again?
set.
Set. Yes. For Camie's birthday.
Woo, woo, woo.
So right now I'm on page 194. We're like nearing the end and we've gotten like more information super, super slowly. But I think like essentially I do want more answers by the end, but it's more about like battling with the feeling, in my opinion, the book is about battling with the feeling of not knowing a lot of things when we live in a world where like you have so much access to knowledge, like whether that is like in a field you work in or like when it comes to diseases or like what's going on in your body, like there's just so much research and there's so many people to help you, but like battling that feeling of like of having access and knowing, and yet like we're all alone in like the world and in our body in like different scenarios. And I think like Leah's perspective is like her educating herself in like the ways of the ocean, and then all of a sudden that doesn't help at all when she's left at the bottom of the sea. And Miri, who is like a hypochondriac and is always thinking like she's sick in some way. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it ends.
Hi, so I just came home. Today we went to print Camie's game that we were making yesterday. It's kind of like the game of set, if you know that one. It's really fun, and Camie's like super good at it. Also because they have like a photographic memory. And so it's Camie's birthday on Saturday, and so we made this little game as a present. And you're probably wondering like, why is it so dark, Wilma? It's because it's 4 o'clock in the north. And it's already dark. I also got some books. I couldn't help myself. Like, I went to the bookstore. Yeah, usually I order my stuff through ARC these days, but it's also just so nice to browse the bookstore and just buy something on the spot. I haven't done that in such a long time. It's also pouring outside, so I hope nothing from the game, like printables and stuff, have been damaged. I also got some fika. Whew, so nice to be home. So these are the 2 books that I got. It wasn't like planned. I already showed you. But I have been seeing these around, talked about a lot, chlorine. And the last time I looked at this in the bookstore, it cost like 300 Danish crowns, which is just so much money. And like I couldn't order it cheaper or paperback. And so I found this edition, which I actually find nicer looking. And it was like half of that. This is also 200 pages and it's also horror. And now I'm thinking like, should I include it in this vlog? Because I feel like it has similar vibes in a way to Our Rise Under the Sea. So maybe, although I wasn't a huge fan of that. Actually, we should probably talk about that. I forgot to talk about that. I finished yesterday. I also started Camp Damascus. And there's some like themes that run through all of them. And I think that's so interesting because I do think like we are in many ways triggered by like the same things when we think about horror. Like I do think like the fact that they're all religious in some sense, I get it. I understand the horror of why people would want to include that like in a book because there's a lot of feelings around religion, you know, a lot of shame, a lot of yeah. I'm not going to talk about religion in this video. Don't you worry. I almost did. There's also, I think, things with water, the unknowable, the ocean, you know, also scary. Cool. I'm going to put the little sticker tag on the back in here. Fun. there was a lot of cool books at the bookstore. I was like, oh, I'm interested in this and this. But then I just like focused in on the ones that when I looked at Goodreads review, the most people that I'm friends with have also read and reviewed higher. This got really high on that. And then I also got this one. I haven't read anything by this author before. Andrew Joseph White. I forgot to say Chlorine by who? Jade Song. Wow, what a name. Anyways, and this is like a young adult dystopian, I believe, but it follows like a trans guy. So that's why I want to read it. Maybe it's more like it could be reminiscent of like a young adult version of Manhunt, is what I'm thinking. But it was in the horror section. Haven't read a young adult in a while, although I will say that like certain adult books have young adult vibes, so I think I'll be fine. But I think I'm gonna read this after I finish this vlog, just because it's a little thicker, and I can take my time with it more, you know. But also, this is so flappy. It's very aggressive, super nice. Pika time. And then I'm gonna fix up the game. I'm gonna laminate all the cards. It's like 81 cards. This is the last day of the month, 31st. It's also Halloween. Happy Halloween. You'll see this later. I'm having also some more coffee because I still have a bunch of stuff to do. And now I'm fiddling with this. And are they addicted to coffee or do they have ADHD? No, we'll never know. No, seriously, I might both actually, probably. Let's do some stuff. I'm gonna chill for a second, calm my energies a little bit. I forgot I was supposed to give you reading updates on Our Lives Under the Sea in Camp Damascus, but I forgot. So we'll do that later after Fika. It took me so long. Like, I need to go to the store and make dinner, and I didn't do anything, read anything, or what I need to do. But that is done. Look how cute that is. I love it so much. The cards are inside. Laminating 81 cards and then cutting them all individually. Piece of work. But it's done. I'm on the couch again, and we're finally about to talk about some books. Like I finished this yesterday, and I couldn't talk about it because I was like sobbing. I was like so many tears just like streaking down my face. I was ready to give this book like 3-star run of the mill, but I get so emotional about the way I feel about books when they make me feel something. And like this book definitely made me feel something. Like throughout the whole book, like the author trying to show us like this weird, it's normal, but it's nothing's normal type of feeling. And like at the end when it all came together, like their love for each other, it's just like it got to me so badly, and I was just crying and crying, but I just needed a moment to like digest it all and let it sink. I think like I'll have to give this book 4 stars. It's like in general, it was just a little too slow for me, and there's a lot of things where like it's not the perfect book for me. Like I feel like this book isn't for me, kind of. But what it did, I have no critiques for. I hope that makes sense. Like I think this book did exactly what it was set out to do, and I love it for that. Like essentially it's about grief, and I think you can compare it to like a loved one going through dementia or other illness, or feeling like out of control and just still having so much love for this person, and because they're like in a way your forever person, and like that feeling of like losing that, it was just so intense. And yeah, the ending was just so sad. But so I don't know what I'm going to give it. Maybe 3.75, maybe even a 4. But that rating is very much based on the fact that this book is not for me and not the actual book. I hope that makes sense. But I'm so glad I read it. It's definitely like a different type of horror. But I started this one. I actually finished what I was supposed to read. So I got to page 50 in this one, and so far we're following this girl that I've already forgotten the name of. We're following this girl called Rose Darling. She's 20 years old, and in the start of the book, one of her best friends basically kisses her, and she's like, no, not that. And then as soon as she gets inside, like her parents are like, are you sure you don't like this guy? You know, it's like good that you should want to like settle down soon, or like build a family, or you know, get married and stuff, because you're like 20 years old now, and now we encourage it. By the way, I forgot to say, like her family is like super Christian. She's very Christian, and so this one has like a lot of religious themes through it. And yeah, I was thinking also like it's so interesting that
all of these books that I read have like religious themes to it. And then Our Lives Under the Sea with that one line about the reality show kind of like connected it to that one. And then obviously like the religious parts of this one. But it first scene also starts with her trying to jump off this cliff into water. And so this one could directly connects to Our Lives Under the Sea. So it's just like funny the fact that I'm reading these like wildly different books, but somehow they're all connected. Yeah. And then at dinner when she's with her parents, she just like pukes all these like flies. And her parents are just like freaks out at first and they're like, it's okay, maybe you like swallowed something in the water, but like it's a lot of flies that come up. And she's just like, this is weird. And then she goes up to her room and like starts researching it. And her dad's like, I don't think we should be on the computer anymore. You know, being too curious is a sin. And then she's like, goes to close the door and there's no door in her to her room. And she's like, what happened to my door? And he's like, what door? And she's like, I had a door here. And he's like, no, you never had a door there. Like, look at the paint and there's no hinges or marks of like holes. And she does. And she's like, why is there no door? And he's like, but I can order a door for you. Like, if you want a door to your room. And she's like, yeah. So weird things are starting to happen. And I feel like because I already know that it's like about a gay conversion camp, that it's gonna be about like her kind of realizing she's gay, being sent to this conversion camp or something. But it's also kind of like supernatural. So I'm like, so far I'm very intrigued. It's an easy read, but it's also gonna be different than the other two books. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm finally back to reading. I'm on page 100. I read quite a bit yesterday, and I actually don't want to tell you more about the book than I already know. Like already told you, it basically centers around this camp, the gay conversion camp, queer Damascus, and the secrets of this very Christian city that she lives in, and her uncovering her past, what's going on with her, why she's being followed by this demon, and why she's like puking flies. And the thing is, most of the book so far, we as the reader have known more than the main character. So it's taken like 180 pages for us to like, for the main character to catch up to like what we know, because I don't think the author really undermines the reader, but it's a little frustrating, like just like watching things unfold when we're like, we know what's up. But it also makes me feel a little bit smart, even though I know I'm not very smart. I think any reader would have figured out like what's going on kind of from like 180, which is pretty much halfway. I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know why she's seeing these demons or why, yeah, and why the flies are happening. So I'm very excited to figure out what exactly it is, what Camp Damascus is like actually all about. Very thrilling stuff. I would love to finish this today, but I'm technically supposed to finish it tomorrow. Still don't know if I'm gonna read Chlorine for this vlog, but I guess you would already know that. I'm enjoying it. It's a very fast read. I just kept reading yesterday. Not a biggest fan of religion, so this book just being a kind of anti-religion book. Not really, but also I'm enjoying it. So I'm on page 250 now, and I'm getting more and more engaged. In the beginning, I had a little bit of a hard time like being fully convinced of the characters, but I think maybe also that was like part of how the stories evolved. The creepy aspects of it got a little bit science fiction-y, which I love, but I think it's not gonna go there. It's not gonna go full in like I kind of want it to, because it's just gonna dip its toes a little bit and then be like, it's more about the characters or the story or whatever, you know? But I wanted to go more there. The character we've also learned is autistic. Can't speak on the rep, but if you want autistic rep, it's in this one. Then what else? Yeah, I'm starting to feel more and more out of the books that I've read in this video. This is definitely the most horror-y, like in the
scary factor, I guess. Like the previous one was definitely more like emotional horror, and the one before that was more like classic scary slasher horror, and this one's more like actually kind of scary. But I'm liking it. I want more answers. I feel like this is the type of book where it does need to like wrap everything up, and I want like a great explanation for stuff. It's a little much to ask for, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really into it, and I don't really notice that I'm reading, which is honestly like the best thing about a book is like when you just keep turning the pages and you're not really thinking about the fact that you're seeing words in front of you. You're just like cinema stuff happening in your head. So exciting. I'm gonna make dinner now, I think. Had this will soon be on their way home from work, which means dinner making time for me. Yes. So I'm working on this like 16-page comic that I did these thumbnails for. I finally finished like the second round of line art. I just have never made like this big of a comic before. I know it's just 16 pages, but it's been intimidating. Just now it's the official line art left, the coloring, shading, then I'll be done. Hi friends, so here we are where we started this video, I believe. I was contemplating a lot yesterday. Should I read this one for this video too? Like, this is just like, these together would be such like a power quartet or whatever. Like, these are just like the horror books of the season, I feel. Well, yeah. But I think I would just really like to wrap up this vlog, get it out there, keep it short and sweet. It's probably like so long already, so I think I'm just gonna read this another time and then you can look forward to hearing my thoughts on it during my wrap up. Also because this is a little bit more sad, I think, and I felt like I ended up on like such a high with Camp Damascus that I think this would kind of like bring the mood down a little bit because it's a little bit more serious, both the mood down for me and also this vlog. So those are my thoughts on it. Let's talk about the books, and first I'll do a little wrap up of Camp Damascus. I finished this yesterday. It ended on like such a banger. I want to say this is kind of a older young adult vibe. Like, it's like the perfect transition between a young adult and like adult because the main character is 20 years old, and it does feel like it's kind of like for that age group. It did get really scary and icky. We got all our like questions answered, which I appreciated. Like, that felt appropriate for this book. What I will say is that like it ended in like a blaze, ended like right after the climax went down, and I think this is the type of book that kind of would have benefited from maybe like one chapter at the end that was like, this is what happened to the characters, or like not exactly like that, but you know, some sort of like last little glimpse of how it went on from there, because I still have like, oh, what happened afterwards, you know? I think it would just be nice. Like, won't rate this book lower because of that, but I just would like to see it. It was definitely like a page turner, very action packed, always very engaged in what was happening. And the book kind of turned out, I did say it was like an anti-religion book. It's not really, it's, I would say, pro-faith, semi kind of anti-organized religion. Or it's like, there's this one line that I tabbed that said, maybe I'm letting the aggressors off the hook by blaming faith itself, which is kind of sums like kind of up what this book is about. It is not a critique on religion, but like how people use religion or faith to justify whatever means that their personal goal is, kind of, and that you can use faith and religion and religious text to validate pretty much anything if you look for it. And then it's about like kind of delves into morals and what truly is a sin. You have to like read a little bit into it, but I think it was just really fun. I really liked it, and I think in many ways like all three of these books are kind of like 5 stars, but the thing is I'm just like really enjoying this reading era for myself. Also, actually, this is chaotic already, but I want to say one more thing. The ending with it wanting like a chapter to wrap everything up, like for example for Migrations, it had one chapter at the end that was like here's where the characters are now and what happened after. And I just like literally tore that page out and threw it away because it was like, this was already a 5-star book. It wasn't necessary, you know, like it was just stupid. And it made me want to like bump the book down from a 5 to like a 4 or something because I was just pissed at the fact that we like got a resolution that was so direct with a book that could have like really benefit from a more open ending. This is like the opposite of that, which is kind of a curious critique because I love open endings, but like this wasn't an open ending, so I would have loved to see like a little more of a wrap up, you know, at the end. Yeah, in their own right, I feel like these are all kind of 5 stars, but I'm also really enjoying that kind of like getting back into reading and reading faster and reading more. And I'm just like really enjoying reading in general. And that's why I feel like I enjoyed all these books so much. I would recommend all of these books. For example, like Our Rise Under the Sea, I'm a little hesitant. I have no idea what rating to give this, to be honest. And I'd rather you just take what I say uh, as the truth rather than like listen to like a number because in many ways, like this book is not the type of book that I like. Like I just it's not really for me. Like this I don't want to read other books like this, if that makes sense. But it also like really emotionally affected me. The book did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it still sits with me, like the feelings. And it's really powerful. So even though like rating wise, maybe I'll give this like a 4 stars. Like in many ways, it is a 5-star book. It was just like not for me even though I loved it, you know? I don't know how to explain this. Both of these have like similarities with it being like a little bit more silly and easy to read and very action packed. Yeah, this is definitely more like a slasher, and this one's more serious and gory, but also they both have great parts. I think these two are much more like straightforward with what they're saying, and neither of them, I'll say, this one, it's not about the mystery, okay? Because even at the end, like, I feel like I knew much more than the characters and like the resolution of how things happened. I was like, well, obviously this is kind of how it works, you know? Like I didn't know the technicalities of what exactly like, for example, the flies were all about. But if you read the book, the collars and stuff, like it's so obvious, you know? And stuff like that, it's like it's not about the mystery of it. Because the mystery is not mysterying, you know? But still, I really loved it. I enjoyed all of these books. Oh, can't wait to recommend this to people and have read some more absolutely great books. Thank you so much for watching. I will give like a last little shout out to the fact that I have some scenes up on my Ko-Fi that you can buy. It's just some scenes that I printed for the Scene Fest that was happening in Copenhagen. And it's not comics that are made specifically for scene format. And it was my first time like trying to make scenes and selling scenes. But the funds for like buying those scenes goes into printing like my longer comic that I'm trying to also print. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed your Halloween. If you read any scary, spooky books or autumnal books, please comment down below. I hope you have a brilliant, amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!